Bonjour, bonsoir, dear friends. Welcome to JCB Live. This is going to be a very exciting happy hour. We are a few days away from the magical Valentine weekend. And it's all going to be about love. It's all going to be about passion. It's all going to be about red roses. It's going to be about the love of wine, the love of culture, from Italy to France to America. And it's all going to be about matchmaking and relationship with a matchmaker, relationship expert, the beautiful, the charming Cristina, who started her own firm many years ago now, 13 years ago, and has an incredible company named Stellar Hitch. I cannot wait for you now to meet and welcome the beautiful, the charming, and the mind-reading Cristina, who knows more about people than any of us. So if you're ready to be match made, she's the one. Cristina, welcome. Woohoo! The wonderful and beautiful Cristina. Are you popping it? Woo!
I am. Hi.
This is the right sound. Ooh la la.
That's my favorite
So,
sound.
how does it feel, Cristina, for the matchmaker, the best on earth, to hold a bottle of 69 in your hand?
Well, let's just say that 69 is a particularly special year for reasons that will go unmentioned right now because the lady never reveals too much about her history, let's just say. But it feels really good, and I'm really excited to taste it. So I'm going to salute you for now.
Salute y amore a tutti.
Salute e bravo, amore.
I'm delighted if I receive the message in my right ear correctly. We may be sharing 69 in many ways together. So, to the best of the year ever, 69.
Oh, yes. Best of the year ever. Oh, boy. Absolutely.
So, Christina, how exciting it is to have created your own business. Before we dive into it, I'd like for you to tell us a little bit about your life in Europe and how everything led to do what you're doing today.
Oh, well, that's a great and fully loaded story that I'd love to tell. I'll try to keep it short and sweet. But I lived in Milan for many years. I moved there. I grew up there in the summers. My mother was from Italy. And I worked as a casting director. And that is where I met my husband. He was one of the actors for this beautiful bank commercial, surrounded by beautiful Italian men in suits. And something happened in the 3 minutes that we connected. I had to go over the scene, and it was the coup de foudre, as they say en français, love at first sight. And we decided to, after a little bit, move to the States. And I loved spending time in enotecas in Milan, wine bars, where people socialized, where they spent a lot of time just, trying different wines. And it was just very low key and full of connections. And ultimately, we decided that that's something that we wanted to do. So we brought that passion, wine, tradition, connections, romance. I mean, what's sexier than wine? And we opened up a wine bar in Sarasota, Florida. And, then of course there's a story of how the matchmaking business started from there.
But before we go there, though, Christina, describe to us the feeling and the emotion of a coup de foudre. No one can probably do it better than you.
Okay. Something physical happened to me, and that has never happened to me before. So I had to get close and take a really close, like a tight shot of a picture, as a casting director. Oh boy. And I had a physical reaction. I couldn't breathe. I was very hot, and something crazy happened. So crazy that 2 hours later, after the casting session, I called his agent and I said, "Tell me about my future husband." And she did. And apparently he stopped too. And he said something happened with this girl. So it's always nice when two people feel it at the same time. But that doesn't happen a lot. It's just something that, happened without expecting it.
So do you believe in fate?
Ah, what a beautiful question. Yes and no. I believe that we create a lot of our own destiny. I'm really a big believer in that. So you can either live life and say, well, look what happened to me, or you can try to create those opportunities. And even though I wasn't looking for a husband when I was casting, I was always sort of prepared. And I think preparation is important when you want to get somewhere next level in life.
And how did you succeed, Cristina, to let your feeling win over, make that phone call and say, whoop, tell me more about my future husband? Because it takes a lot of, inside power and energy and really, I know a lot of beautiful ladies who would never do that. So it's pretty amazing.
Well, thank you for saying that. You know what? It's one thing besides, inner fortitude. It's not being attached to the outcome. I had nothing to lose. I just threw it out there. Something magical happened. And whether or not there was reciprocity or not, it didn't matter to me. It was a beautiful feeling, even though it was only for 3 minutes. And I was willing to explore whether it came back to me or not.
So from that phone call and him, obviously, via the agent feeling the same way, how did it happen? Was it the next day and boom, bada boom, here it was?
Well, she said to me, "Oh, he actually called and he left his phone number if you'd like to call him." And I said, "No, no, 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 no. I don't call men. The man would call the woman. So here is my phone number if he would like to call me." And lo and behold, the next morning, before I was heading off to another session, I got a call, and it was him. So we didn't really mess around.
I love it. Well, he still waited the next day, so he had you all night palpitating, or being out of breath, or being sleeping in apnea.
Not really. I think I reached a good point in my life where I was like, bah, great if he does, great if he doesn't. And I think that's what helped me get to, meeting the love of my life at that time. I truly do. It was a mindset.
Those Italians are very good. As Frenchmen, I think we have a lot to learn from them at all time, right? So he succeeded. He succeeded.
I think the Europeans in general have a few extra tricks up their sleeves that the Americans can learn from.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes.
Wow. Oh, yeah. I know you have that in your book of manners for all the men that you advise. But before we get there, so you open, which I'm very excited to hear, a really wonderful wine bar in one of my favorite city on the west coast of Florida named Sarasota, a city that I used to come to a lot for the French Film Festival many years ago.
Wonderful. Oh.
I used to go to the Café of the Arts all the time. My good friend was Alain Toller, who was running the chain. And I met many, many good friends there that I still have today. So I've been to Sarasota a million times. Love it.
That's wonderful. It is. It's a truly culturally rich city in Florida, which is, hard to believe sometimes, but it is. And oh gosh, that's wonderful that you know it. So I totally forgot your question. What did you ask me?
Well, so you opened the wine bar, in
Yes. Oh,
Sarasota, coming back
okay.
from Italy. So tell us about that experience and how this experience led into your new business, which has become a great success.
Oh, it was so wonderful. So it was pretty easy to have this vision of what we wanted to bring to start this wine bar. It was, oh gosh, it was so magical. We found this beautiful, um, rustic bungalow from the 1920s that was brought over by boat, and tiny 800 square feet private backyard that we just turned into a wine bar. So it was very intimate, romantic. We played Italian music, sometimes a little lounge music, and we had boutique wines. We didn't want to be, we wanted to introduce people to something other than, the cabs of the Merlots. So we brought in like the Morellino di Scansanos, the Nebbiolos, the certain little, the Nobiles, and we just introduced our patrons to that, and they loved it. And it was just us and husband and wife. So it was like coming into our living room. So
Yes.
what happened then is that because it had this very intimate atmosphere, like let's say you came in and you were coming in alone, and I would say, "Oh, Jean-Charles, come here. Oh my gosh, sit down. You must talk to Lisa, and she has the same passion for wines and blah blah." So even if you came in alone, we connected you, and
Ooh.
it was really truly beautiful and romantic. People got engaged there. There were baby showers there. It was one of those type of places. It was very special. And after a while, people started ordering off the menu. Like there were women, and these were beautiful women who would say, "Okay, I'd love to have the bolognese and pasta di Sangiovese, and could I, do you happen to have any single friends that are like your husband?" Or men, and this is
I like that question, of course.
I mean, it came up all the time. So we started to pay attention and observe people. And then men will come in. They call me before, or they come in the afternoon before, and they say, "Okay, I'm going to bring in so and so. Pour her the Barolo if you think that she's a keeper, or give her the cab if you think she's a one off." And these were accomplished men, surgeons, philanthropists, some were well known. And I thought at first, okay, this is super charming. After a while, I was like, wait, how does this person not know how to discern, how to determine who's right for them? And how is this beautiful woman not meeting quality men? So we started to really think about it and say, wait, there's something going on here. So A, how can we help people kind of get out of their own way and really meet the type of people that they're looking for? And B, how can we, help connect people? So that gave us the idea for, to start Stellar Hitch.
This is unbelievable. Wow. So, what does 69 inspire you? How would you describe 69 within the context of Stellar Hitch?
Ooh, it's sexy, it's sparkling, it's dry, and it leaves me wanting more.
Ooh, ooh la la. This is very good. So, well, I'm going to move to the Chardonnay now because
Okay,
I'm getting some
if
vapors.
you
I'm getting
must.
some high heats. So, we selected two wines for you. On the front of the wines, still wines, a Chardonnay from Napa Valley that is called Foreverness. Whether in your Stellar Hitch private matchmaking service you promote Foreverness or not, maybe not, so there's a recurrency of business. But tell us about how you go about finding out information about both sides. And do you help more men, more women? I know both ultimately, but how does that work?
So first of all, we do promote foreverness for sure. I mean, everyone is dying to get off the market. Take me off the market. I'm so tired of swiping. Everyone is just like, please, I can't do it, especially this year. So we're really into that. Look, not everyone wants to get married. People are just looking for their person. Just, I want my
Yes.
person to build something. So at the end of the day, marriage is not, the end all be all for everyone. But we do, how do we find out? Very easily. I am direct but gentle. I mean, once someone decides to work with me, we have to get into the nitty gritty. We have to talk about the intimate things. Sometimes wounds come up, disappointments, very high expectations. And ultimately, I'm there to listen and not judge, but also guide. So we do tend to work with more men, a lot of very accomplished, successful men who know exactly what they're looking for, but they don't have the time or the access. They don't want to be online. Some of them are well known. I've worked with some celebrities before. I mean, at the end of the day, people just want to meet their person and do it in a very discreet way. So these type of people who have it all essentially and just need that one, they're the ones who are looking for something. They're not afraid to ask for help, and they're looking for something very high quality, like everything in their life, high quality. So I'm not afraid to ask the questions because, at that point it's an intimate journey. I don't even like to call it a business because it's almost an oxymoron, an intimate business. It doesn't feel, it's a process, it's a journey, it's an experience. Actually, I like that better. It's an experience for people to, refine really what it is they're looking for, understand that if there's been a pattern in their life, patterns start with you, Jean-Charles. Patterns start with you. So,
Of course.
we try to get to the heart of the matter so that we can get there quickly. It's not for dating. Like if people are looking to date, there's much, less expensive ways to do that. This is more for people who know what they want. They don't have a lot of time to, suss through the riffraff, if you will, and they want something specific. And that's my job, as a former casting director, to go out there and do the private searches.
And so do you follow typically the same routine of questions, and you take notes and you do technical description of each, and is it what's your process as far as, because you must be an amazing psychologist too?
Well, armchair. I mean, I did study psychology, but it's not my, my degree per se. But yes, of course it takes a lot of psychology for sure, and intuition. And I mean, at the risk of sounding un petit peu arrogante,
Yes.
I feel like I know within the first 3 minutes what's standing in someone's way. Like as soon as I sit down with them and get a sense of who they are, within 3 minutes I go, okay, this is sort of been the issue. A lot of times it's just access. You know what? Someone's super successful, they don't have time. Okay. But maybe half the time it's something that is really standing in someone's way. So I like to do a now with COVID, I do this, a lot of virtual meetings to get to know the person and understand. And I will not take anyone on who I don't think we're a good fit for. If I'm not confident or excited that I can match them, then I won't take them on. I will not waste anyone's time or resources. I want to feel good about it. I want to feel good about, oh my gosh, we've got this. It's going to be so fun. And if there's something that comes up for me, or my instincts or red flags, I won't take someone on. And I encourage them to do the same when they're interviewing matchmakers or me. Check in with your heart. How does it feel? Does it feel right? It's not a cerebral decision. Finding love is not a cerebral decision. It's really all about tapping into your heart. And sometimes people have a hard time doing that.
For sure. So now you have offices on both sides of the United States, Florida, West Coast. What is the difference of style that people may look for on both sides? Because I would imagine French men very well and Italian men very well. And there's a true difference. So tell us about those two and the two coasts of America, because I could see there's a big difference of people who live on either side of it.
First of all, you're asking some loaded questions, Jean-Charles. about the Italian men and the Frenchmen. So I might just sort of skirt away from that just for a minute. I am married to an Italian man, so I'm emotionally intelligent. When it comes to both coasts, however, essentially people are looking for the same, right? Men are looking for women who are special, who have that unique combination of beauty, of class, of fun, of playfulness, of, intelligence. It does sound like a simple order, but it's a tall order to have everything. Women are looking for security. So, do they want someone with a great personality? Sure. Do they want to be attracted to them? Sure they do. But at the end of the day, they want to feel secure. I mean, most of them really do. So I always tell men, confidence can supersede not enough zeros in the bank account. Confidence can supersede, not the right education. If a man leads a woman, knows how to lead her, comes across as confident or funny or something other than just nice, then he has a really good shot. So some of the things that they can learn from the Europeans is how to lead women, chivalry,
Chivalry. I love that term. Ooh la la.
Hey, at the end of the day, I have some questions for you too, but ultimately it really is about knowing how to lead. And, that's physically, that's metaphorically, at the end of the day, that's just what women want to be led. I'll probably get in a lot of trouble for saying this, but if a woman is being honest, especially the women of today, they're super accomplished, successful. They don't need men, a lot of them. But so what they're doing is they're sort of losing sight of their femininity. Well, I can do it all. So what do I need a man for? Well, you're unhappy because you haven't met someone. So why do you have to lead with this masculine energy? What happens when a woman leads with masculine energy is to attract a masculine man? No, she does not. She attracts a more beta man, a man who is, has more soft skills, if you will. So, part of it too is just encouraging women not to lose that sense of femininity. Like, living in Milan for so many years, I loved looking at these women on their Vespas. It's 30 degrees outside, but they still had their scarves of foulards and their stilettos, and they look so put together. And I love that. It does take a lot of work. However, even how they led in the workplace, you can still lead and be successful and respected without losing your femininity. That's why men love us, because we have what they don't. And I think a lot of women forget that.
What happens when you match two individuals and it's not going to work, but they are so in love that you cannot unglue them together? And you're thinking, that was a good idea, but I'm not sure over time it's gonna actually stick. What is there something you do, or you just let it be?
I can't let it be. I'm hired to guide, so I feel like I would be doing a client a disservice by not opening my mouth, and I've had to before. And most of the time, because I'm not going to match people who I don't truly think are going to be a fit, but most of the time, it's because they're going too fast too soon. So I set people up a few months ago, and they're like, "Oh my God, this is great! Like, we really hit it off." And I'm going to take her to my place in Mammoth next weekend. Wait, what? Well, I've seen her 3 times. I was like, that's a sleepover, like right away. Forget about amidst a pandemic. So I've seen, I have to say something, and I think anything too much anything, too much wine, too much judgment, too soon, anything with too in it, anything that's over, you're too fast, it's just going to crash and burn. And that's what I've seen. I have warned them, and nobody listens because they're in the moment, they're feeling it, their juices are
Well, and
flowing.
it's passion. Cristina, passion. Coup de foudre after 2 minutes. And the next day, bing, bam, boom. And you're telling us not to be passionate. What's happening?
Exactly. So who am I to stay in the way of all that? I'm not going to. I'm not going to stay in the way of it. But I do have to say, ay, 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 vai piano. You know, how do you say it?
Chi va
Doucement,
piano va
doucement.
sano.
Bravo. So, you know,
Sì, bravo. But, I say but because how do you get away to go between passion and the moment? It's not easy. So let's say they meet. Give us the process. You introduce two people, they
okay.
meet,
I mean,
they,
is this pre-COVID or pre-COVID is
yeah,
a
yeah,
whole other story.
pre-COVID.
Oh,
COVID is,
COVID.
is an accident of time.
I like that. So ultimately, yes, I get approval on both ends. I'd love for you to meet this person. I tell them about him. I'd love for you to meet. Everyone's been heavily vetted, background checked, everything. All the boxes are checked off. All they have to do is figure out if there is chemistry, right? So I try to make it as seamless as possible. I want them to be relaxed. I want them to be excited. At the end of the day, they come together. I set up the plate, where do you want to take her? I like for the man to weigh in. Where do you want to take her? What kind of venue? Where are you comfortable? He should always lead. And I put it together. You guys are going to meet here. I do not give out last names. I try not to show photos, but a lot of times I have to.
Wow,
I give you for that.
you succeed without showing photos? That must be a tough one.
Well, people trust me. I mean, look, I used to. Now, at where I am in the business, I can't get away with it. But there are some. I have worked with some celebrities. I'm working with one now, and they don't want their photo shown. So I have to refer to them as like Miss A, or you're gonna meet. I want to make sure that people are in it for the right reasons. I'm not gonna. The last thing they need is someone who's gonna meet them for their for who they are. I want them to meet them for who they are here, not who they are here. So then they meet, and I pray. I always say I do. I swear I do a little meditation. I have everything on my on my spreadsheet of who's meeting and when, and I look at the clock and I just do this thing where I really am with them, and hoping that there's great energy, or at least curiosity, or some good feeling. I mean, if you look for the good, you're going to find it. If you look for the bad, you're going to find it. So I really try to get people in a positive mindset, and then I have to let go and step away, and then I hear how it goes. I check in with them the next day, and hear how it goes. He said, she said, and then I'm as involved or not as they want me to be. Sometimes I give feedback. You know what, this thing came up, but I'm sure that you really didn't mean that. Sometimes I have to play helicopter mom. Other times I don't. We're really dealing with mature adults. So, and then I just really, if I don't hear from my clients, that's a great sign. That means they're exploring, they're on their way. They'll check in sometimes. What kind of flowers does she like? What do you think about this? Do you think this is too soon? I'm happy to give that advice, which I do all the time. That's something that is a big part of what I do, because as my husband likes to say, you can bring him a Lamborghini, but they need to know how to drive it. It's true. Everyone's looking for the 10, but are you have to know how to manage that. You have to be a 10 as well. So there are a lot of elements that go into this. When you're talking about human psychology, emotions, expectations, all of this, investment, the stakes are high.
And how many people do you have in your organization to do this, or are you the only one screening individuals?
So I have a lot of recruiters. These are people who are on the ground. So of course I have a network. I've been doing this for 13 years, but the network is constantly changing. So I have to keep it, fulfilled, fresh. I want always good people. So now I have recruiters. I have online recruiters. I have offline. I got people on, where I can't be. I want to constantly have the right people. So I have recruiters. They're my most important asset to my organization. They'll send me people, but everyone is vetted through me. So I work personally with the client because it's a very personal business. I don't pass someone out, oh, work with this person. No, you hired me, you're going to work with me. So those, besides a business manager and, the social media person that I probably have to get soon, it's really about recruiters and just me. And my husband always consults with me, but he's doing other things as well.
This is so exciting. So, talking about wine, we selected for you the emerald. As you know, the emerald is the symbol of the 55th wedding anniversary. So this is over 5 decades. As you can see, this is a beautiful Swarovski stone that we put on every bottle by hand with a lot of love and passion. And this is our Chardonnay, made by a wonderful lady named Stephanie Putnam here in Napa Valley with us. And I want to ask you a question. One, to describe the wine, of course, and what it makes you think. And two, how much wine does play a role in the encounter, in the ignition of that candle, or the vibration in that body that makes it shrivel and be excited?
Makes it curl a little bit.
That's right.
I just think wine, elixir of the gods. I mean, for me, wine goes with romance. Wine is sexy. Wine is incredibly important. This wine, I want to chew. I want to chew this wine. Very buttery, with a beautiful, smooth, vanilla-y. I don't know if it's apricot or almond. I need to have some Parmesan, but this wine is absolutely beautiful. And hello, what a fantastic Valentine's gift!
Thank you.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? It's so sexy. You keep the bottle. I mean, I've never seen a bottle like this. I mean, with Swarovski crystal. I mean, come on. I love this. I mean, this is. In fact, I'm so excited to be here, and perhaps we'll talk a little later because it's really. I find that it's a great compliment to what I'm doing, and giving gifts or having people give each other gifts. So wine is important. I mean, okay, sometimes I have people who don't drink, maybe 10%, but wine, it's it's something to be shared. It's something to be savored. It's like, oh no.
You could go there. It's only you and I, Cristina, right now. Your husband is not even watching yet. He's driving the Lamborghini, remember?
Oh, yeah. He knows I'm talking with a Frenchman. He'll be home very soon.
I know, it's very dangerous. But the French have learned everything from the Italian, except the French kiss. That's the only maybe they can borrow once in a while.
You definitely have earned points because I know the Italian and the French have a little, a little rivalry going on, but that's another story. Wine is important. Wine is, I'm Italian and we grew up with wine. I grew up with wine. I drank wine since I was 6. We have a almost 7-year-old. He has wine. Yes. Little sips, but it's, come on, you have kids. I'm sure that you let them, try your wines, I hope.
For sure.
End of the day, right? I mean, it's
absolutely.
It shouldn't be a forbidden fruit. When I used to go to Italy in the summer, it was everything, the wine, the grappa, everything was, nothing was off limits. That's why I loved going there. Everything was like, ooh, different rules. But anyway, wine is important in my industry, in love, and it's a conversation piece. It helps people enjoy life. It helps people relax. It helps people be honest with each other. It helps people hopefully be a little bit more authentic, and hopefully people really enjoy. I truly enjoy it. There are people who drink it for the wrong reasons, but for me, it's I'm crazy passionate about wine, good wine. I'd rather not have any wine if it can't be good.
That's right.
Kind of like something else in life. So, it's very important. Very important.
Well, thank you for saying that. You're making us even more joyful as we make it for you and think about this great discussion. It's going to motivate us even more. Now, Cristina, would you be willing, without names, of course, to share one of the most exciting moments you've ever created for two people in your business? Is there a memory that you say to yourself, that's what I wish every time would happen? Because those two people, maybe they met and it was love at first sight, they got married and whatever. Or the opposite, they hit each other and they knew it at first sight, and it was a saving for each of them of their time and thereafter. So is there something you want to share that you love as far as what you've lived and experienced?
There are tons, excuse me, there are tons of great stories. One that stands out right now is significant because I see it happening a lot today in dating because people are so quick to judge. Is this couple I put together? They had a first date. He was a retired doctor. She was an interior designer. And it was a 3-hour date, first date. They laughed, they cried, they totally connected. So I talk with him, right? Next day, feedback. How'd it go? And he says, oh my God, it was amazing. And we talked about this and that. I felt so connected with her. I talked to her and she says, yeah, that kind of like high pitched, like still thinking about it. And I said, well, I heard you cried. I heard there were things, and she said, no, it was great. He was nice. I'm just not sure if he's the one. And I said, oh, really? You couldn't figure that out in 3 hours? If he was the one? Shame on you. Joking, of course. But I just said, well, listen, if it was good, and he was a quality person, you don't have to think about that. Everyone's so attached to the outcome. You're not meant to figure out if the person you're going to, that you meet for 1 hour, 2 hours, or 3 hours, you're going to marry. All you're meant to do is ask yourself afterwards, how did you feel? You feel good? Were you intrigued by him? The slight bit curious? Great. You should see him again. No big deal. So, and at the end of the day, it took me 30 minutes to convince her to go on a second date with him. It was a hike. I said to her, it was just a hike. You hike, he hikes. At the end of the day, you get your hike on. If it didn't work out, you got your hike on, you got to see a new place, you see this person again. If it
That's
did,
right.
Great.
Nothing to lose,
right?
Not dangerous at all.
Nothing to lose. Well, you know what? This is a sidebar. This is really important. I just did a little thing on this. Is that women are so afraid of saying, what they say to me is, I'm afraid to lead him on. And I said, well, what, okay, what does that mean? Well, I don't want him to take me out. I don't think I'm really into. I'm like, well, you're dating. You're supposed to be collecting data points. You're supposed to be exploring. You are supposed to be spending time with him. How else are you going to decide or figure out if this person is worth your time? It's also called dating. You don't owe him anything. It doesn't matter if it takes you 5 dates, 10 dates. It doesn't matter. That is what dating is all about. Every time I say that, Jean-Charles, to women, they go, oh, I feel so much better. So there's something out there. Women sort of feel like, oh, I don't want to give him the wrong impression. Well, really, you're not. If you're unsure, explore. So turns out after this hike, second date that was, turned out to be a 4-hour date, she calls me, really like out of breath, like, oh my God, I'm so glad you got me out of my own way. She was afraid he wasn't alpha enough for her, is what she said. And I knew that he was very alpha, but he was just trying to be, listen and, be supportive of her on that first date. So anyway, she said, oh my gosh, and the kiss, and oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm so attracted to him. Thank you so much. Great.
Oh, they kissed?
Oh, yes. On the second date. You know why? All the elements were there. He knew where to take her for the hike. She met him at his place, which was on the beach. You know, she met him outside, but, you know, nonetheless on the page, she got to see different, you know, he was confident, he was feeling his thing, he was leading her. Come, let me take you, let me show you what I've discovered. She liked that. She needed that. She was able to feel secure and in her feminine. Whereas on the 3 hour date, she was, you know, worried because she, you know, he was being supportive. She had just lost someone in her family and he was there to, you know, just to be there. So she didn't see that other side of him. She got to see it. He's very athletic. So she saw all these things and more. Well, not totally more, but, you know, enough for her to go, ooh, instead of, And these guys, they have been together for 6 years now. Second
Wow.
baby on the way. I love that story because it really speaks to so many things that are happening today. Quick judgment. Nah, I don't think so. Who's next? Really? Based on what exactly? So
Yeah.
it really is a great example of give someone a chance. And I have so many of those stories of people, you know, giving a chance and getting out of their own way and saying, you know what, I'm really looking for this type, but, you know, maybe I can be open to, you know, looking at this person. Are we moving on to the red?
Well, we have to because you bring so much fire into my body of excitement, the fire of the walk, the fire of the kiss, and then the children. I mean, this is great. When you're able to put people together that way, this is magic. You're a magician.
That's really kind of you to say, but you know, at the end of the day, it's the people are doing it themselves. I
True.
try to get the riffraff out of the way so they can be clear about what you want, clear about what you
Yeah.
don't want, so that we can really capitalize on the opportunities that are there instead of spin our wheels and, you know, swipe left, swipe right, not know what's happening. I mean, come on, you know, at this point, you should really start focusing on, you know, your core values and what's important to you.
Very true. Very well said. So, Christina, Cabernet Sauvignon, you mentioned you love Italian wines. This is again, and we're keeping you in your beautiful state of California that you love as well. You live part of the time in California too. So this is our Napa Valley, and this is one of my favorite stone that symbolizes the ruby, the 40 year. You know,
Love
look at
this.
this amazing baby, child,
Oh,
blossoming stone. Look at that. Woo, woo, woo.
that is uh, sexy. Yes,
So
yes, it
how
is.
does
It's
that
absolutely.
tell us how does this wine makes you feel? If you were on a date, what would you like to feel? Well, let's
Ooh,
say
if I
you
was,
are on a date, your husband is not watching. Remember, he's driving the Lamborghini at 450 miles an hour. You are with a Frenchman. He's jealous, but he doesn't see us. It's only being built up in his imagination. It's an illusion of his mind. Isn't it the dream of the Italian to make the Frenchman jealous, and the dream of the Italian to vice versa, right?
bien sûr, absolutely, hands down. Uh, all right, so first I'm going to take a sip of this. I don't even want to, the nose is so delicious. Sometimes I don't even like to taste wine. I'm afraid I'm going to be. The nose is so beautiful that you feel like, oh, okay. Um, oh,
It's true. Sometimes the nose is enough. When I make wine or I help stylize our wine, Christina, the nose for me is the most important. 90% of a wine, I personally would craft or sculpt or define or create is with my nose. The palate is important, but the nose is the key. I think the nose, the approche, the flavor profile brings everything together to define further the taste. So I
oh
agree with
God,
you.
I couldn't agree. Yeah, you're absolutely all the senses. I mean, I think you asked such a great question. You know, how does someone want to feel on a date? First of all, this is I mean, there's a party in my mouth right now, so let's just leave it at that for um it's
Love
an
that.
absolute
Right in my
it's,
mouth.
it's an absolute the finish is so wonderful. I mean, I've got all this food here, but I don't even want to. It's almost too sacred, but I need to make sure that I have the water, but I don't even want to touch it anyway. This is creamy. This is incredibly balanced, and of course it's hello. But what I like about this wine, this Cabernet, is that it's fruit forward, but there's also a fabulous finish. So it's not like, hi. It's like, hi. Bye-bye. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, fine. You said it so beautifully, I'm speechless. You make the
Don't
French
drink too much
speechless.
wine.
Congratulations. You
No,
did
but
it.
this is fabulous. This is fabulous. Look, at the end of the day, people just want to feel, they want to feel free to express themselves. They want to feel like they're talking with someone who understands them. I mean, I always tell men, if you know how to tap into a woman's emotional center, you have her. You know, the secret to seducing a woman, it's so easy. It's simply to listen, to actively listen. She will tell you who she is. It's up to you to catch the things and then bring it back. You know that. I mean, European men, they kind of understand that. So I really try to share that with men. Like, just try to listen. She will tell you everything. If she feels safe with you, she will tell you who she is. And can I tell a quick little side story on that?
Of course, of course.
Quick story. So on my first date with my beloved, I had mentioned throwaway, beautiful restaurant in Milan, and we had a wonderful. The whole thing was magical, and long walks. And I had, in passing, talked about one of the things I missed from living in Italy. Excuse me, from the United States. I was chewing at the time Big Red chewing gum, whatever, cinnamon. Couldn't find it in Italy. On our next date, he found, I don't know where, I don't know how, Big Red, and he wrapped it and he like drew on it. I mean, something so simple and almost childlike. It melted me. I thought I was talking about 1,000 things and he caught that. He showed me that he was listening, and I was incredibly touched. So it doesn't have to be anything grand or extravagant. I think at the end of the day, women just want to feel like anyone else, seen, heard, understood. Don't we all? Isn't that what we all want?
I will toast to that. This is so well said. Thank you for, outlining better the art of seduction and the art of listening. Thank you, Cristina. So on that note, what is your dream now? What is your dream, either in your life or as a business or as people together? Because you deal with such great emotions at such high, level with people. It's so exciting. But what is your dream?
Well, it's kind of a little bit of a secret, but
Uh-huh.
I would like to combine. I know it's not very difficult to pull it out when there's a little bit of wine involved. At the end of the day, I would like to combine wine, travel, authentic, special experiences for a certain type of person. And I'm not just focusing on the person who has it all, but at the end of the day, people who have it all, that's who I have a lot of access to. What are they looking for? They have everything. They have the car, they have the watch, they have the hat, they have everything. They want a unique experience. Correct? So
Absolutely.
j'adore l'Italie. I love Italy. I would like to share a lot of La Dolce Vita with people in the American culture, and very unique experiences that they wouldn't otherwise just kind of put together. See, I'm revealing it all, but
Well, that's a great evolution of your business too.
I think so. I think so because it really can involve singles and couples, and and it's not excluding anyone, and everybody loves to spend time in Europe. And once everything opens, I'll be ready to go. So that's something I really would like to incorporate. At the end of the day, what do they say? Do what you love. I love
Yes.
connecting people. I love, romance. I love La Dolce Vita, Italy, wine. Put it all together and give people something special. And, isn't that what you did at the end of the day, right?
Oh, for sure. And maybe we add another Fellini movie besides La Dolce Vita is 8.5. We'll do it in 8.5 days.
Love it.
And we'll do it in Roma just to conclude.
Pourquoi non?
So, you have a partner with us to do it with, of course. And if you decide to cross the Alps, the French side of your heart is there too. I know you have two hearts, truly. I could see your love of France as well. So, we could combine the Franco-Italian friendship that is a forever. We call the Italians our cousins, right?
Are you kidding me? Don't think that I haven't ding, 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 put it all together. Absolutely. At the end of the day, this is a very timely conversation. Let's just put it that way.
Absolutely. So we are ready. Dear friends, we may announce with Cristina a strategic, phenomenal, emotional, loving, traveling, experiential relationship. Ooh la la.
Ooh la la. I love that. What a beautiful thing to semi-announce on, 2 days before Valentine's Day.
For sure. So, well, you could get the best of both worlds. I'm not jealous. You start with an Italian, you continue with a Frenchman. There's always an evolution to the story. And can you believe my lovely wife is Italian descent?
I know she is. I know she is. Could you please tell me how you met her? And I don't want like the what you can read. I want to know what happened when you met her. Can you please reveal that?
Absolutely, Cristina. And you said it so well. You use the word I always use. I look at her beautiful blue eyes at a fabulous function in France, of all places. And it was like you, a coup de foudre. And I must say it was not for her, but it was for me. For her, maybe it was 2 days later, after we met in Paris in a phenomenal, unique place, and we had an incredible time with a group of friends, and we had our first kiss. And I need to say, from the eyes to the lips, it was the absolute phenomenal coup de foudre in all its senses. And it was 17 years ago now, in 2003, and it became, a life love story. So thank you for asking. And when you described your story, it felt very similar to you on the movie set or the advertising set where you were as the casting director. And I was there saying hello to her family table, and she stood up, and suddenly, as a bachelor that I was, traveling all around the world in a world of seduction, I was suddenly taken off the ground, and I was vibrating of excitement, and there it was.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Can I ask you one more question to put you on the spot?
Of course. Thank you.
17 years. You met her in 2003?
Indeed.
Okay, that's fine. I met my husband a year later. So you're together. You have 2 girls, 2 daughters, twins. What is the number one thing you think that keeps your marriage vital, alive, going?
Well, and it is thanks to one of the elements you've mentioned is incredible communication. She's a great listener. She is a great communicator with me, as well as her surrounding, as well as our children. We have a lot of fun. And I believe not one day is the same as well, because both of us would be, you know, inhabited with lassitude and boredom if it was. And frankly, an additional thing is we love other people as well. So we constantly are as well engaged with others, other people's mind, energy, discoveries, experiences. So it's really from one to the other, feeding kind of a perfect synergy where, you know, we both different enough, where we meet in a great place where both are really compatible in that sense. So I really believe, you know, we only growing with time, and either you grow with time or unfortunately time divides you. And I really feel all the energy is really solid and really bringing the best of both of us. And she's very good at that. She has, like you, a degree in psychology, so I think she's a great listener as well, and really takes the best out of me. Whether I do that on her is a question you should ask her. But I really believe as well is what you've lived, the Franco-European or the Americano-European relationship, I think really helps, because the American way of being, the European way of being, when it's really perfectly matched together, could be really equaling 3 or 5, not just 2. And I think that's what we very fortunately have experienced together. But I think you should ask her the question when we meet physically with your husband. I think it will be a lot of fun to have this discussion.
I would too. I would love that very much. And thank you for your honesty. That sounds that's exactly what I was looking for. You touched upon some very important points. So thank you
Thank
for
you.
sharing that.
Well, Cristina, the last point I want to touch on, because sadly everybody needs to go now with the dinner program and planning maybe Valentine, which is happening in the next 48 hours. I would love for you to send a message to all the single people out there who are looking for someone, male, female, and maybe with the queen or the princess, because you're way too young to be the queen, the princess of emotion and relationship. What would Cristina tell male and female now on the eve of Valentine as a recommendation, as a guidance?
Be curious. A, give people grace. B, don't take anything personally. C, and approach this dating thing like an adventure, because it is. No judgment, just look. Like wine. Let me try this wine. The bottle, not so sure. So try to have, I think people need a little bit more extra adventure. So keep the faith, be curious, don't be quick to judge, and walk with your eyes open, because you never know when you're going to be surprised. Just be ready.
I love it. Curiosity is my favorite word as well. So you really striking a chord within my mind that is one of the most important: audacity and curiosity. So, Cristina, we want to thank you so much. I know we're going to have a lot to discuss about our strategic relationship together between love, passion, relationship, and wine. So,
Absolutely.
all our friends out there, all around the world, because we are all around the world today, from Asia to Europe to, of course, the US and Canada. Thank you for being with us. Cristina, I wish you a very romantic Valentine, naturally.
Charles, thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure and so much fun. And happy Valentine's Day to you and your lovely wife.
Absolutely. And to you too.